So, what kinds of plants might you find in the seed plant category? Well, all seed plants obviously have seeds, but they also all have vascular tissue, so none of them are going to be short. Seed plants include things like trees. All trees are seed plants. They also include all the grasses or bushes that you might have around your house. A lot of seeded plants will have flowers, and actually, the way that scientists break down the whole huge category of plants that produce seeds is they divide them up into gymnosperms and angiosperms. Angiosperms are what we know as flowering plants. So these nice bleeding hearts that I have here, they're here next to my porch, those are flowering plants. They always produce their seeds in flowers, and they are some of the most beautiful plants that exist in the world. You'll find them all over the place. This even includes things that you might not expect to have flowers, like pretty much all trees that lose their leaves in the wintertime are angiosperms. So maple trees, oak trees, all those things are angiosperms. What are gymnosperms then? Gymnosperms would be a different category that these trees would fall into. So these trees are gymnosperms, which are the group that's called the conifers, if you've ever heard that word before. Conifers are plants that hold their seeds in cones rather than in flowers. So these guys won't lose their pine needles all year long, and they store their seeds inside of cones. So they are different from the flowering plants because flowering plants obviously use flowers, but conifers use cones to hold their seeds, and they are called gymnosperms. All gymnosperms are plants that won't lose their leaves in the wintertime, and they hold their seeds in cones. Since we're talking about the seed plants, we also need to know a little bit more about vascular tissue, since this is something that they all share in common. Vascular tissue has two parts, and it's really simple. It has to do with what direction stuff is flowing. The pipes, the vascular tissue is kind of like pipes. In fact, if you look at a piece of celery, that's the easiest plant to see the vascular tubes in because they're large and they will stick in your teeth if you break them and chew them. The vascular tissue has different names depending on which direction stuff is going. So when you're talking about water and nutrients flowing up from the roots of a plant up into its leaves, that is called xylem. It's spelled X-Y-L-E-M, xylem. And so the xylem is always the ones that flow upwards. The ones that flow downwards carrying sugar that's created in the plant's leaves and other things that it might need to take downwards are the phloem tubes. P-H-L-O-E-M, phloem. If you think about it, the ones that flow downwards, like things usually do, is phloem. That's how I remember it. So xylem carries water nutrients upwards, and phloem carries sugar downwards into the plant.